Merry Christmas and all that, albeit the 25th on the verge of coming to a close. And I've spent the best part of the last half hour going down a rabbit hole, courtesy of coming across a video on Education Scotland's website or a YouTube channel, even. And it's obviously a subject I'm somewhat familiar with anyway. But what I genuinely find severely baffling is the fact that even to this day, despite the fact learning for sustainability and global citizenship education, etc., has become very, very mainstream in Scottish academia, it's still something that seems to be relatively under the radar for most people, despite the fact it is becoming ever more increasingly blatantly malevolent. The amount of hyperlinks that I have subjected myself to, courtesy of just Education Scotland's website in the last 20 minutes or so. I mean, I can go far too many tabs open at this point. But here we are again. Might as well go through it briefly. Why not? So, learning for sustainability, advice and guidance, target 2030, described as the bold ambition that sits at the heart of the Scottish Government's Learning for Sustainability Action Plan. The national target is for every 3 to 18-year-old learning setting in Scotland to become sustainable by 2030 and for all learners to receive their entitlement to learning for sustainability. Just for anybody that's not aware, this is effectively one of their rights. The UNCRC, another UN fucking Trojan horse. They're entitled to learn all about it. Isn't that nice? Isn't that sweet and progressive? They're entitled to learn all about it. The action plan was developed in response to the voices of children and young people who call for a greater focus on learning for sustainability, climate change, education, and outdoor learning within the Scottish curriculum. Problem, reaction, solution, political grooming, things I've talked about multiple times in the past. It's very, very, very convenient. You introduce children to these topics via the education system. They then start to demand change or suggest change or, provide suggestions to improve the education system. And just so happens that the Scottish Government is very, very, very open to the idea of listening to these children. And of course, they couldn't refuse, could they, given the fact it's one of their fucking rights, right to be listened to and taken seriously. What? Who said that? Well, anyway, so learning for sustainability action plans, and I've talked about it before, but even this bit here, right? So the action plan was developed in response to the voice of children. So let's just go this one first, okay? I mean, the amount of tabs I've ended up looking through is just baffling. So this is the tab in question. Just very briefly, children have the right to have a say in decision making in Scotland. Oh, isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? Yes. But anyway, it says down here, learning for sustainability. Let me zoom in a bit. Learning for sustainability subjects in Scotland teach children outdoor learning, sustainable development, and climate change topics, and global citizenship, including children's rights. Last year, the Scottish Government asked over 100 members of the Children's Parliament to share why learning for sustainability is important to them. They told us that they want to see more outdoor learning, climate change education, children and adults, for children and adults, sorry, and children's participation in action and decision making. And it just so happens they've got a right, courtesy of the United Nations Children's Rights Charter, to be listened to and taken seriously. But regardless, so they're introduced to these topics, okay, as it says here, learning for sustainability subjects in Scotland teach children outdoor learning, etc., 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 right? So they're introduced to these topics already, but as a consequence of being introduced to these topics, the children then in turn demand more to be taught on said subject. And the Scottish Government, of course, they're going to listen to these children. Of course they are. Of course they are. It's totally not political grooming. No, it's not that at all, is that? Scottish Government. This is the bit though. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. The Scottish Government listened to children and wrote the new Learning for Sustainability Action Plan. The Scottish Government listened to children. Wonders never cease. So it says that the action plan is a call for action, is a call to action, sorry, for everyone in Scotland to work together to build a powerful movement for change to help us reach Target 2030. We need your help to achieve this. Everyone has a role to play, no matter how small or big. Here are a few ideas to get you started. Plan your Target 2030 journey. All right, okay, so let's have a wee gander at this, shall we? Just fucking hell. So we've got this whole school and community approach to learning for sustainability, self evaluation, and improvement framework. All right, let's have a gander. Why not? Whole school and community approach to learning for sustainability, self evaluation framework. This framework can be used to stimulate dialogue and action towards a whole school and community approach to learning for sustainability. Bear in mind, this is for kids. This is for children. Okay? And then I'll look at this. Learning for sustainability is an approach to learning, life, and work, enabling learners, educators, and schools and their wider communities to build a socially just, sustainable, and equitable society. An effective whole school and community approach to learning for sustainability weaves together global citizenship, sustainable development education, outdoor learning, and children's rights to create coherent, rewarding, and transformative learning experiences. And then, of course, it says that learning for sustainability is fully embedded in the General Teaching Council for Scotland's professional standards and is recognised as an entitlement for all learners, with the General Teaching Council for Scotland effectively with their professional standards being the equivalent of academic law. So schools have to adhere to what the General Teaching Council for Scotland says. And of course, it just so happens that this bullshit is now academic law. And then it goes on to, elaborate a little bit here. Learning for sustainability, learning for a better world, human rights, social justice. Yeah. Critical thinking, the laugh of that is unbelievable. Methodologies for global citizenship. Here we're sharing videos and methodologies you can use in the classroom as part of the home learning and even to develop your own practice. Oh, that's so lovely. Lovely stuff. Global citizenship was next, so we'll just go to global citizenship. Conflict, climate breakdown, racism, increasing inequality. If we are to respond to the urgent issues we face today, we need to transform the systems which perpetuate harm and injustice. Global citizenship education empowers learners to understand these systems and to act for a peaceful, just, and sustainable future based on human rights, anti-racism, and global solidarity. Let me just say this, for fuck's sake. If my child came home, my hypothetical child came home and said, "Hey, Dad, I can't wait to go to school tomorrow because we're all going to start speaking about what can be done to act for a peaceful, socially just, and sustainable future," that would be the last time my child ever participated in said school. These are subject matters that should be left well away from any child. This is a sort of bullshit you would expect to find and or hear in a sort of American university and or college campus. But instead, it's been introduced and as a consequence is beginning to permeate all across Scottish academia, courtesy of their fucking entitlement to learning for sustainability. But no, of course, it's fine. Of course, it's fine. It's fine, boys. Dignity in schools, a hub for rights-based practice. I mean, dignity in schools. Starter pack. Here we go. Share this tab instead. So you want to implement a children's rights approach in your classroom. You have come to the right place. Here, you will find a step by step guide on how to make sure that your classroom space has rights at the heart of it. Our principal concept of dignity helps in the understanding of children's rights. Feeling respect for yourself and others creates a dynamic where each human can be themselves and embrace their difference, where everyone is important and special, creating classrooms where everyone is valued and dignified. Happy, healthy, and safe are the key words which will be used to translate to children's rights language. Aims of the starter pack being to help establish a children's rights approach in your classroom and to direct you to our informative resources and session plans. Oh my God. The UNCRC, or the United Nations Children's Rights Charter, Trojan Horse, by the way, is a legally binding international agreement, civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights of children across the world. This activity is intended for the educators and adults of all your organizations as a foundation for rights-based practice. Learning about the UNCRC is a good starting point for establishing, spelling correctly, what rights mean and how they are going to be central to the classroom environment. Friendship and learning. Find out what children need from each other to support their learning. Explore what adults can do to support friendships in the classroom. A dignity meter is a scale meter that the children create to indicate how dignified they are feeling. It can be a great tool for understanding what dignity means and how it can feel in a classroom. Dignity. I mean, for fuck's sake. Oh my God. This presentation, this is the dignity meter. This presentation can be used with children in P5 to 7 to explore the concept of human dignity. When we're working with schools towards rights-based practice, we always start with the concept of human dignity. Dignity underpins all aspects of the UNCRC and is an important concept for children to grasp. When children learn about what dignity means to them, they are less likely to behave in a way that might take away someone else's dignity. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Sit in a circle on the floor. Have all the children do a check-in to see how they're feeling today. You should join the circle with them to show that you are equal with them and taking their thoughts seriously. You wouldn't want to, sort of go against their right to be listened to and taken seriously, would you? Of course not. Once the children have understood the concept of human dignity, get them to go round in a circle and say one thing that might take away human dignity. This could be something that happens to children to make them feel less important or special. Oh my fucking God. Oh, I mean, come on. I don't know. I can't even go through this. It's just, I can't. I really can't go through this. Oh, my days. Just fuck. Really is some of the most malevolent bullshit. An overview of race equality and anti-racist education for practitioners and new Scottish government-funded resources to support for anti-racist education in Scotland. Oh, of course, No smoke without fire, Promoting race equality and anti-racist education. All learners have a right to learn in an equitable environment where all cultures, identities, and languages are recognized and valued, and where the curriculum responds to the diverse needs of individual learners and reflects the uniqueness of their communities. Why are race equality and anti-racist education important, or why is it important even? Learners are empowered to develop an understanding of their own values. Anti-racist education helps children to understand and realize their own rights, of course. Anti-racist education helps learners to understand the harmful consequences of racism, presumably dignity as well. It nurtures a historical literacy in learners, which helps them to understand all of Scotland's history, including our historical role in empire, colonialism, and transatlantic slavery, and the diversity of Scottish society in the past. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Just on a wee side note for a finish up here, like whenever you listen to these people, does it know like penny no drop that they're always referring to children? You know, they can't re-educate adults apart from like fucking far leftist types, activists, etc. People that are already beyond the pale. They're specifically targeting children and they're framing their objectives in such a manner to sort of justify what they're doing. Everything is about the future. Everything is about children. They're the priority. It's their future, despite the fact it's our future too, surely. You know? Everything is about them. It's all geared towards justifying, re educating, politicizing, propagandizing the youth. And for the vast majority of people, it seems to go completely unnoticed. Food for thought. Anyway, have a good one. Adios.